Hi guys, welcome to Velocity Factor. My name is Felipe Ramirez. In today's segment, we're going to be talking about Subaru STI tuning. So we're not going to just show you your stage 1s and stage 2s. I've come up with a package that goes all the way from stage 3.5 to stage 5. So we're not only going to show you the parts, but we're going to show you the cars and the cars in action. Alright, so since 2002, when the Bug Eye Subaru first came out, we started working with Cobb Tuning and various other aftermarket manufacturers on souping up the Subarus. So we've learned a lot along the way. Our shop has been open since 2002, and so we've had the privilege to work with these cars since then. So basically we've compiled all that information, all that knowledge that we've learned on tuning, on the correct parts, on MAF scaling, on pressures, air-fuel ratios, all these things that are so important, and compiled all this information to benefit the latest STI. So basically we can take a stock 300 horsepower Subaru STI and make it 450 or maybe even 500 horsepower safely with the stock engine. So what we have to do is understand how everything works perfectly, and I as a tuner put it together with the right air-fuel ratio, make sure the cars never knock. The most important thing is that we can use ethanol, and with ethanol the cars run a lot cooler, they never detonate, so it never hurts the motor. So a flex fuel kit is definitely one of the most important aspects of getting these builds to that high horsepower safely. So I'm going to take you guys under the hood now and show you more or less what that entails, how all that works, and then we'll show you the final product. Alright, so the basic idea is that we are going to upgrade the car's parts like intake, exhaust, intercooler, and such. Also the fuel system, which is the most important part. And the last thing, the most important part of that is the computer work that's going to be put together. So at that point the car is going to need a custom tune, which is called a Pro Tune, which is where I come into place. And we're going to be able to take and scale the injectors, the fuel pressure, and all the things that are necessary to make the car run on ethanol and be able to make a lot of power safely. So after stage 2, the most important part is to add a stage 3 fuel system, okay, and basically Pro Tune the car. So what I will be doing as a Pro Tuner is scaling the injectors and the fuel system, making sure that the fuel pressure is appropriate, that some fail safes are put in place, and fine tune the car for the modifications that it might have, like headers or larger intercooler, or maybe they remove the TGVs, and I'll go over a few of those. But the most important part is going to be that we add the fuel system and that it's Pro Tuned accordingly. Right, so Cobb offers a nice array of off-the-shelf maps like stage 0, 1, 2, and 3. And it tells you the appropriate modifications that are supported for those maps. So anything altered or changed from that is going to need a Pro Tune. So I'm going to talk a little bit about do's and don'ts on the 2015 and up STI and commonly made mistakes that could cost a motor. So the first one would be, if you're going to do stage 1, basically it's just their SF intake and their tune. It can't really be another brand because of the diameter of the MAF and the scaling. If you're going to go to stage 2, it would be just a downpipe and a catback exhaust system, not the intake and the downpipe. That's a common misconception. So you could either do stage 1 or stage 2. You cannot combine the two because the car's out of fuel, or it would need some kind of fueling upgrade and a Pro Tune. So that's where stage 3 comes in. In stage 3, the maps that are given allow you to do intake, downpipe exhaust, and their larger 1050cc injectors, rails, lines, and so forth. And with that, the car will run well. However, you're probably going to want to do headers and from-on intercooler or TGV deletes to take advantage of that power. So that's why I created the stage 3.5, stage 4, stage 4.5, and stage 5 packages for your Subaru STI that are safe to use, using a lot of the Cobb parts that you already have. It's just fine-tuning the equation, because we've done quite a few of these and they've gone out there for years without a problem. So that's what we wanted to share that with you guys. And the way that the cars run is fantastic. So we're going to also show you not only how they sound, but how they run. Okay. Alright, so for any of the stage 3 and above cars, minimum we'd like to see some gauges here in the access port and an air-fuel ratio analyzer. Now the reason an air-fuel ratio gauge is so important is that we want to make sure that we see the air-fuel ratio in case there's a lean condition or something. It will kind of warn us before there's a problem. The factory oxygen sensor will not read as accurately as this, and it won't read below 11.14. So the difference between 10 and 12 AFR is kind of crucial when you're looking for performance. So this is going to be very nice to have right in front of us. Now, once you have it in front of you and you're sort of boosting and driving around, you're going to learn the air-fuel ratio, which is just a basic, I like to say, a number between 10 and 20. 10 is being real rich, 20 is lean, an air pump, 14.7 is your middle range, your stoichiometry, what the car is going to be doing at idle. You know, just regular cruising light load, you're going to be at 14.7. The second you tip in and you get into the boost, it starts to go in the 13s, 12s, and we want to reach a low 11 by redline. So that's what the air-fuel ratio gauge is. I highly recommend it, and any of the builds that we do that are going to be above stage 3. Alright guys, let me show you under the hood of a stage 5 STI. So here we have the turbo has been upgraded with a Tomei 8265. We have a nice heat shield. Everything's been titanium wrapped. The turbo gets spooled via an equal length header that has been wrapped in titanium, and the up pipe. And for the cooling, we have either Cobb or ETS front mount intercooler. As you can see, all the pipes are leading to the core in the front right here. As you can see, it's a pretty massive core. It's about this tall and it goes about that wide. Anyhow, so after the hot air leaves the turbocharger, it's going to go through the core, cool it down, come back in. The fuel system is going to consist of the entire stage 3 Cobb flex fuel system with lines, rails, and injectors. We also have a fuel pressure sensor in line right here, this guy. Monitor fuel pressure, very important to make sure that we don't have a drop in fuel pressure. Here's our lines. And underneath the plenum, there's going to be a TGV delete as well, so we're going to get rid of those runner flaps that will provide a restriction, if you will. They were just meant to have some low and grunt for about 300 horse, but once you reach above that point, you want to get rid of them so that the car can flow more air in. And so those are in place there, right underneath the plenum. And then we have the intake side of things. So we have a Cobb inlet hose. All the hoses are installed properly, everything like that, and that's going to go into the Cobb air intake air box, which we modified for the ETS intercooler. With the Cobb intercooler, you don't have to do any of these modifications here. The pipe will just run along real nice here. The customer had just happened to have this one, so we made it work for him. And then underneath here is the air filter, which will get some air, which is channeled in from the front of the car for some nice dense power. So this combination right here will yield about 450 wheel horsepower or 500 horsepower at the flywheel on a stock motor. We do recommend the 18 and up, the cars that have the tennis ball green brakes. These seem to have the upgraded RA pistons, so those engines have been a little bit stronger. So we've taken quite a few of those to stage 5 without any problems. Alright guys, so we converted this STI from stage 3 to stage 5. Right now it is on ethanol, it's about E60. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to empty out the gas tank, which we did. We're almost on empty here. And we're going to go fill it up with 93 octane. Then I'm going to do my tunes on 93 octane where the boost is lower. And then after I get my tune dialed in just right, then we'll go ahead and empty out the gas and then put E85 in there, and then we'll do that tune, and then we'll interpolate the two for flex fuel. Alright, so as you can see, the ethanol content after filling up with 93 octane is going to start to go down from 62, probably all the way down to 10 or 20. So what's happening here is we're reducing the ethanol to be able to start on the tune with with a lower boost reading, so we don't hurt the motor. And then after, like I said, when we're done with that, we'll go back up to ethanol 60 or 80 and then retune again. As you can see, the ethanol content and the air-fuel ratio work side by side, and the car is doing what it's supposed to. So as your ethanol content goes lower, your air-fuel ratio is staying the same. So it's constantly at 14.7 no matter what this was doing. So earlier we're at 14.7 with 60, now we're at E30 and you're still at 14.7. So that's what the flex fuel is going to do, is it's going to calibrate itself according to the ethanol content, which is really, really smart. Alright, so the first step is to load up a base map to the car that's going to have low boost, not a lot of timing. You know, we're going to take a look to see where we can start to ramp up some power. So we want to make sure that we reach the level, you know, the max level of power slowly, and that we get there little by little so we don't hurt the motor. It's a very crucial step. So I've added a map custom made for that. We're still on pump gas, and we're going to go ahead and add that in there, flash it in, and then we're going to make some logs, okay? Which are parameters that the tuner will be able to see in order to manipulate the map accordingly, okay? Alright, next up on the access board, we're going to want you to set up some gauges so you can see some important parameters. Most importantly, probably air fuel ratio if you don't have a wideband, which I highly recommend that you do, especially if you're on flex. Number two, we're going to want to make sure you see some feedback knock in case you do get some feedback knock. Boost is also going to be important, which I'm going to put on here. I'm tuning the car now, so I like to see fuel pressure. If you have a fuel pressure sensor, that's important. And then this way we'll be able to make a log and with this base map and look at those parameters like I said, and then make the appropriate changes, okay? Alright, so this is a 2020 STI stage 4.5, and let me show you how nice everything came out and what it consists of. We have a full intake from Cobb, so this is your Cobb SF intake system with airbox, complete with turbo inlet hose. That feeds our Tomei 82 turbo here, the 8265. We've got a heat shield that goes over that and your downpipe, okay? The turbo is going to be blowing hot air through these pipes, which is going to go through the intercooler and cool them down, come back around here, all right? And as you can see down there, we also have our headers ceramic coated. This car does have the full entire stage 3 fuel system from Cobb, including the flex fuel, and I'm going to tell you next what we're going to do to make it stage 5. Alright, what is in the box for stage 5, guys, is this 4-bar map sensor from Cobb. So we're going to replace this 3-bar map sensor here, which can only read up to 22 pounds, install this guy, rescale the whole computer because it won't run right otherwise, and we'll be able to take the turbocharger to a much higher boost level. Alright guys, so this is going to conclude our video. This is now a fully tuned stage 5 car. It's got the 4-bar map sensor, the boost control solenoid. You can put regular 93 octane fuel or E85 or anything in between, and the car will react and drive safely. It's really, really cool. I wish I could show you guys just how amazing this car drives on a daily basis. That's why we get so many of these. So if you have any questions, make sure you reach out to myself, Felipe at Velocity Factor, or any of the guys here. I'm more than glad to help. Until next time.